All right, so in this video, we'll learn a little bit more about the day-to-day of what a data science manager at LinkedIn does. So Fangfang, what do you see as the role of a data science manager at a tech company?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm actually pretty inspired by this book called The Making of a Manager by Julia Zhu. That's a great book that I strongly recommend to whoever advancing their journey to become a data science manager. To me, there were two aspects of being a successful data science manager: the external and the internal. External means that you are leading a team that you need to align its vision as a captain, right, to your upwatching, to the leadership team, and ensure that whatever like deliverables that your team works on, it's impactful and aligned with, again, the company vision, and to be communicated in a way that is like crisp and clear to your leadership and the stakeholders. And then always, alongside of that is the internal view. You're leading, like say, several team members as a frontline manager. That means, you're responsible for their career growth, in their happiness, essentially, working in the company. And the way you do it is through identifying impactful work that aligns with their career interests, making sure they are executing, gaining sufficient resourcing, and removing the roadblocks so that they're happy while the company gets the deliverable, right? So if you're able to have both the external and internal view checked, then I would really consider you're doing a great job.
Yeah, I'm almost picturing it in this metaphor of a ship's captain, like you're a captain of a ship in a fleet of ships. And so part of your role is coordinating with the rest of the fleet and making sure that you're sort of in formation, but then also making sure the folks on your ship can take care of their duties. And oh no, we ran out of food, right? Like almost the keeping things working inside your ship as well as in alignment with that broader fleet of ships. Tell me if that metaphor lands.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That you're not, like say, caring about so much about, like say, the how to part. You can outsource that to tech lead or whatever senior member or even independent junior members to figure it out. But you're more leaning to the what, the so what part of it.
Nice. Well, and so I'm curious, if you're doing that role well, what does success look like?
I would say, like say, very naturally, right? Like if you're able to speak to the impact of your team in a collective manner to your leadership and to the stakeholders, so that it shows through, the message shows through, as well as internally your team members have a happy tenure. They always like to be working with you and to endorse you as a good manager. Then I would say you achieve your success.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It sounds like there are a lot of people you have to keep satisfied, the sort of folks at the higher level, the folks on your team. Who do you view as your primary customer or stakeholder for your work and your team's work?
Yeah, and again, that's a very important question that makes sure that you get the alignment, your view aligned with your boss for sure, and even skip level. I would say in my particular role, my key stakeholders are mostly partners that works in the marketing and sales department. But interestingly, my team sits within engineering. So in addition to making, like say, sales and marketing leaders happy, we'll also want to make sure that our data science data leadership knows, aware of the work, and then happy with, like say, the quality and holding up to scientific rigor.
Yeah, that's a lot of stakeholders to manage with there, the sales, marketing, and engineering leadership and partners.
Yeah, exactly. Typically in larger tech companies, I would say, the number of stakeholders grows exponentially, and then you need to do a lot of the alignments before just rolling up your sleeves and diving into the actual work. The smaller the company becomes, the less overhead, I would say. So it's more down to just fast turnaround and execution. But still, in that environment, alignment is key.
Yeah, well, we've certainly both experienced that working at Google, right? That sort of larger company approach. I'm curious then, with all that work around alignment, how does your time balance between heads up time in meetings and heads down work?
Oh, this is such a great question. I would say normal day to day, 80% in meetings and 20% in reviewing decks, designs, and return communication. Data science manager, especially again, in large companies, are very communication heavy. So they need to spend a lot of time again, either just making sure that the scope of the work is well understood by the team members, is aligned to the stakeholders, and then it's something that, like, say, inspiring for team members to work on. And then also during the execution, it's moving along in the desirable directions. And then when the result begins to show indeed what we are looking for, right? So a lot of time is just spending in either talking or writing emails about those elements.
Yeah, there's almost this go-between element of knowing what your team is doing and translating it elsewhere, and knowing what the priorities are from leadership and translating it to your team. That role of a communicator and communicating between different stakeholders of different level and almost viewpoint sounds pretty complex.
Yeah, it felt like just a middleman, right? Like in transmitting like communications, messages, but of course you add your value add to it, not just passing down everything. So so it's really I would say an art to decide what to pass on, when, to who, etc.
Yeah, through an art that you develop through experience, and then maybe using some of those books as resources to help on almost structuring the problem.
Oh yeah. So technical kind of capabilities and is what gets us there. That opens the door to management. But once you step into management, then it's a totally different like, say, set of skills that you need to power up. So like books, experiences, as well as soft skills on inferencing, as well as management, even project time management becomes very important. It's not to say that, like, say, those are not important for tech leads or advanced ICs, but more probably, the people elements of it is more sort of, like, say, their focus areas for data science managers.
Yeah. Well, and my sense is that as a data science manager, your time is immensely valuable, and where you put it is actually really important. How much time do you spend working late nights or on the weekends?
I try not to work on weekends, and LinkedIn really respect people's leave time and downtime as well. So for that part, I would say I don't need to work on weekends. During the weekdays, I would say it's more for, like, say, flexibilities, right? Because we are not having like a desk job from 9 to 5. We're just accommodating our schedule, integrating the work life in a way that works the best for our current family situation. So I would say my typical time schedule is like start the day around like 8:30, 9 o'clock, do meetings, and then ends around 5 to care for families, and then hop back onto my laptop to check emails, prepare for the next day after 8:30, and go to bed normally around 11.
Yeah. Well, and I have heard that sort of second shift of work between dinner and bed can be particularly important if you have, that hard stop in the afternoon. And so it sounds like you've actually created a schedule that allows you time with family and also getting work done.
Yeah, exactly. And then people are really understanding and respectful of that. It's also about, how you clearly communicate the schedule that works for you, so that others are aware and then will not disturb you during your non-work time.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense to set those boundaries. Well, and so in our next video, we'll chat a little bit more about, we've talked a little bit about it, but the things you enjoy, the challenges in this role, in addition to just the day-to-day. Sound good?
Yeah, excited. Let's do this.